I hope y'all keep trusting the process, and we're going to keep getting better and win games.
And oh, by the way, hashtag NBA vote. You're up against the third best rebounding team in the league, and you grab a career-high 14 boards, dominating the paint, controlling the glass. What was the key?
I thought lately I haven't really rebounded the ball, so tonight, coming into the game, I made that my goal, and I grabbed 14 rebounds, and we got the win.
You've now won 4 of the last 5. Where do you go from here?
We're thinking about playoffs, so we're going to keep on walking and getting better.
Love it. Joe, thank you. Mark and Olive, back up to you.
Great stuff, Molly. We thank you so much.
If we think back to Brett Brown's first season, though, he told us from the jump, if we're going to be young and free, we better be good at it. And tonight, with 9 available players, 8.25 if you count the banged-up body of Gerald Henderson, keep an eye on the Sixers' ability to play a little bit more free out here, because typically they're playing through Joel and Jalil in the post. So keep an eye on that part of the game. The Sixers got thin real quick with perhaps too many bigs, and now they have only one. We're looking at you, Rashawn Holmes. So what's the strategy? Take it away, Coach.
I think you do something different, and it's, for me, like the whole other way. It's speed it up.
All right, so big-time Philly is how our producer described you earlier, but as a fellow Tar Heel, I'm going to add big-time Carolina to the mix as well. We've got a number of Temple alums on our broadcast, so set them straight. You're the one that really got away. How close were you to signing at Temple? There, look, 16 seasons in the NBA. You've seen it all. You've been there, done that. Your hometown team had you on your feet earlier. What have you seen from them?
I like it. I like the young spirit that we have.
Keeping the 44 points in the half, it's a big thing for us.
Ball movement has been a big key in your recent wins. Going from good to great in this system, how do you strike that balance while still maintaining aggressiveness?
You know, we just did.
That's nice, kid.
It carried on through the first half, and you know, they got a spark in the second half, but you know, we kind of recovered and got the win. You know, I can't even think right now. That was so cold.
That was cold. I can confirm that was pretty cold. There's that smile. Look, you were up by 23 at the half. You're on a triple-double watch, right? No turnovers. Did you sense that you were 1 assist away as the clock ticked down?
The guys came up to me and told me that I was 1 assist away.
Looking back to the end of the third quarter, you were visibly frustrated on that sideline. Immediately got with Dario. You guys talked things out. How would you best assess where your communication level is at?
You know, it's great. We can talk to each other, and you know, we say we're a family and brothers fight, and you know, it got a little heated between me and Dario.
The score's locked up at 117, 31.5 on the clock. You head to the line for 2, you sink 1 possession later, you're back at the line, sink another 2, ultimately icing it with 4.6 on the clock. Really the first time you've ever been in that situation. What's going through your mind?
You know, I've always thought that I'm clutch, so I just stepped to the line and make my free throws, and we won the game.
How about the play of your starting point guard, TJ McConnell, undermanned with 9 players, but his ability to maintain a feel for the gym?
I thought he's a great point guard. He's been helping us all season, and everybody likes him, and he likes us, and when we play together, that's what happens. We win games.
Finally, Joel, you're putting up all-star numbers as a rookie and on a minute restriction, but you told me if we're not winning, it doesn't mean anything. Tonight you won, so how do you best quantify what it would mean for you to be an all-star?
It would mean a lot, you know. Like I tweeted the last tweet I had, it was mainly because I want to date this girl, so that kind of pushed me also to like be an all-star. So if it can happen, it would be good.
Hey, who's the girl?
No, I ain't gonna say. Maybe after all-star.
Night in and night out, it's the million-dollar question. How will the Sixers manage their bigs? I can tell you that everyone on Philly's sideline understands the landscape. They're stacked at the center position, and that trickles down to every position on this roster. Jahlil Okafor, for one, has not seen the floor in 3 of the past 4 games as the Sixers figure out who fits best with the organization. Brett Brown has been very transparent in saying that they're building this program through defense, and they're also building around Joel Embiid. Ja said he expects to play at Washington Saturday, the second of a back-to-back, where Joel will rest, adding that he doesn't view himself as a backup center, but all he can do is continue to work and be there for his team. Now, Jahlil also said that he's turned to Elton Brand for some advice in this tough situation, and I also heard you, Ala, leaving the locker room with Ja in Brooklyn, saying it's a marathon, not a sprint.
You're absolutely right, Molly.
This is perhaps the hardest hitting question I've ever asked on the sideline in 10 years. Can you do a little beatbox for us on CSN?
Philly. 76ers, they're number one.
It was Kevin Love who said he would grab a broom and sweep the floors if that led to helping his team win a championship. That was 2 years ago, and now the Cavs feel like they know how to best utilize him. As you take a look at his last 2 games, Love is averaging 22 points and 11 boards on the season, both highs from his time in Cleveland. And the Cavs say that they haven't changed anything magical to the playbook. Love is simply being aggressive, but gone are the days where David Blatt would stick him at the three-point line. Now he's closer to the basket, more active at both ends, and appears to be much more comfortable in the process. In fact, the first play the Cavs run every single game is for Kevin Love to help set the tone. So broom or no broom, Mark, he's going to work. Welcome back to Sixers basketball on CSN. The doctor is in the house. I walked with Julius Erving coming out of the tunnel. He liked what he saw from the 76ers midway through the second quarter, ripping off those 11 unanswered. And after an 11-point lead at the half, you outscored the Mavericks 36-16 in the third quarter. You take a 31-point lead heading into the fourth, but you never stopped fighting. Why?
That's what Philly's about, right? So it was a good opportunity for us to come out and play hard against a team that's trying to get in the playoffs, and we know it's not going to be an easy road from here on out, but that's not how we want it. We want to have to battle and fight our way to win every night, and we sure enough did that tonight.
Dallas head coach Rick Carlisle said that you're a great fit for Philly, not only with your athleticism, your high energy, you're a multi-positional player. What was it like playing your former club tonight?
It was exciting. I came here with a little bit of pep in my step. Had butterflies all day.
Back to the locker room with just under 5 minutes remaining in that second quarter. I'm told that he has a nosebleed. He is available to return. That's good news because the Raptors went on a 20-11 run in that second quarter with him off the floor. And Mark, late in the second quarter, you also posed a question. You said if DeMar DeRozan is a no-one slasher, why foul him on jump shots? Well, I asked assistant coach Lloyd Pierce that same question coming out of the locker room just now, and he said he's second in the league in free throw attempts. He said, ask the other 29 teams. We're trying to contest. He's very good. We've been trying to solve the James Harden, DeMar DeRozan problem for years, but Lloyd said, regardless, we got to be more disciplined, guys.
Boy, that's a good one, Molly.
With the Sixers allowing a season-high 68 first-half points, including 12 of 9 from deep, 10 of those coming in the first quarter alone. Assistant coach Lloyd Pierce just told me coming out of the locker room that they watched every single three there inside the locker room, and some of them, Lloyd said, you just got to laugh and say, I dare you to do it again. Lloyd said our hands were up, and they pushed through it. He said, but we've got to be more physical, wear them down here on the second of a back-to-back. One final note, Mark and Ala, with only one Sixer turnover here at the half, Lloyd said, if we are physical, like he said earlier, we get out and run, that's where they're going to continue to have success in that area, Mark.
Good point, Molly.
Memphis has always been a grinded out team, Mark, very surgical with their approach. The last thing the Sixers want to do is get in a toe-to-toe fist fight. And speaking with assistant coach Billy Lang, he told me that we can't have a make speed and a miss speed. He said we have to have pace. We have to push the ball. And he said that if the ball moves, if the bodies move, that's when we're at our best. As for those 10 turnovers, all I got was too many, guys. Mark, going back to what Dwayne Casey told us about taking a program that's developing to a program that's winning, he said, listen, there's no magic formula. It comes down to having the right players with the work ethic to get the job done. But Dwayne also noted the importance of coaching with conviction, adding that you hear the noise, but you got to stick with it, something Brett knows all too well, saying pregame he wants it all when asked if developing or winning is more important here in year 4.
Joining us here, the third member of our broadcast crew, Molly Sullivan. Molly.
Hey, Mark, thank you very much. There's not one player in this league that's a ride. That was Brett Brown's message to Joel Embiid with 27 games in the books. The best part is, Brett said Joe wants to be coached. He wants to be great. Ironically, when I asked Jason Kidd about Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kidd said the very same thing, that Giannis wants to be great with an understanding of the work he needs to put in to stay on top. The Bucks are on track for their first winning season in 7 years, and yet Kidd said they are on high alert with Philly's number 21 on the floor. Brett said Joel is so raw that fundamentals continue to be the focus as he looks to finish the final day of All-Star voting strong, Mark.
That's amazing. A guy who is averaging 28 boards and 2 blocks is raw. but that would be the truth.
With the Sixers down by 3, we welcome you back to Milwaukee, where Ersan Ilyasova spent his first 7 seasons after being drafted in the second round. Now, he may have played for 4 teams since, but this is still the home base for his family. His wife and 3 children are here tonight. They haven't all been together in 2 months, and Ersan said he's had the date circled on the calendar since November 1st when he was acquired from OKC. Now, Brett called Ilyasova the ultimate family man. In fact, he helped put the word family in the Sixers family room. With such a young team, very few guys have started that chapter. Brett said it's a big part of growing a culture. He saw how having Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan's family together helped set a tone. It's all part of bringing balance to the game, Mark.
All about the fam, Molly. We thank you so much.
Gentlemen, welcome. The countdown's on March 24th. Your new movie, Chips, hits theaters, but you've been all over Philly. This guy apparently was a power forward in high school. What do you think of his play during your shooting performance there? He said he showed flashes of Charles Barkley, but I don't know.
Well, he gave it all he had. Yeah, but for the record, I only claim to be a good rebounder. Had there been a rebound competition, I still probably would have lost because when I was a kid, so that makes us even.
Hey, good thing there's not any chemistry between you two. We're looking forward to it, March 24th. Thanks for joining us.
We're so happy to be here. This is a circus, and we were part of it.
And get after those fries, man. There was a point midway through the second quarter when the Spurs were out shooting the Sixers by nearly 40% and yet only up by 5, currently by 21% and up by 7. Assistant coach Billy Lane just told me, look, when we move the ball and take good shots while conversely not turning the ball over, that's when good things happen. And as for Kawhi Leonard, with a 12-point second quarter after 5 in the first, Billy pointed out that every San Antonio player is shooting at least 50%, and that type of efficiency, he said, when we're giving up 7 to 9 points on going for shot fakes, so we can't give them efficient shots. He recognizes that playing with a high level of physicality is what's going to give him staying power. The next step in his evolution is long-range shooting, with Robert Covington as a prime example of the development of a 3-and-D player. Brett said if it was 30 years ago, you could look at a player like Anderson and say, okay, drive to the basket, finish in traffic, play some defense, call it a day. But that's not going to cut it in today's NBA. Anderson said with a green light to let it fly from deep, that's the next step in his evolution. Mark, 1 of 3 from beyond tonight.
As if on cue, and that was a rather healthy 3, and he buried it.
Assistant coach Billy Lane told me he likes the aggressiveness the team showed in that second quarter, opening that frame on a 9-2 run. They implored him to hit first. That's exactly what they did after allowing 20 points in the paint in the opening frame. They only allowed 8 in that second quarter, and Billy said those 13 assists on 16 made baskets, that's how you need to beat the Bucks. And with the lead here at the half, Billy said that hasn't been the case in recent games. Guys are playing loose and free, embracing the spoiler role, Mark, and now, of course, they got to finish it out. With Dwayne Wade saying that he'll do everything in his power for a return to the lineup in the postseason, even if his elbow is not at 100%. Jimmy Butler said it's on him now to provide D-Wade that opportunity. Butler's playing through his own injury with ligament damage in his left hand. Of course, Burstables need to make the postseason, currently 1 game behind Miami for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, 3.5 out of the 5th seed. All eyes are on the team dynamic, as Butler has said that Wade is the best teammate he's ever had. And then you may recall last summer when Wade and Rajon Rondo both called the Bulls Jimmy Butler's team. Well, now, Mark and Ala, the question is, can Jimmy Butler's team make the playoffs? Some news from the Sixers sideline. I'm told Jahlil Okafor is experiencing some right knee soreness and will not return tonight. Robin Lopez has returned to the lineup as he served a 1-game suspension after an altercation with Serge Ibaka. So when did Lopez know that he would get suspended? Well, he said after he threw a punch, which put an end to a couple of noteworthy runs. First, he was the only Bull who had played and started in every game this season. In fact, the suspension also put an end to 187 straight appearances by Lopez, the definition of durability. He was quick to also point out what makes the 76ers dangerous, and he said to him, the Sixers play loose, adding that the Bulls have something to play for. But Mark and all, it may not be the playoffs this season for the Sixers, but my bet is every guy in the Sixers sideline will tell you something different. They all have something to prove. The NBA family lost a prominent member Thursday. Craig Sager passed away at the age of 65 after battling cancer for more than 2 years. Now, Craig was the dean of NBA sideline reporters, and today Sideline reporters from all across the league are honoring him, and we invite you to check out the SagerStrongFoundation.org. Brett Brown has said from the jump he wants a team that reflects this city with toughness leading the way. Enter number 21, Joel Embiid, who puts on a show every single night. The latest, Sunday's win over the Nets, where his fingerprints were all over the court and the crowd. It wasn't the first time he dove into the stands chasing a loose ball. You'll recall after the Sixers' first W of the season, Joe told us that Allen Iverson's advice has stayed at the forefront of everything he does. That being, leave everything on the floor, play hard for your city, and always win the 50-50 opportunities, the hustle plays. Brett said when Joel chases the ball, he wants to personally beat him, so when he crashes to the floor, Mark and Alla, he can help, adding, I'm so proud of him and love everything he represents.
Molly, what do you have on Ish Smith?
Yeah, Mark, to your earlier point, after playing with 9 teams in 6 seasons, including 2 rounds in Philly, Ish said he's beyond thankful for the opportunity he had with the Sixers to show what he can do. No doubt helped lock up his first long-term contract. And Stan Van Gundy, he knew what he was getting in Ish. He coached him for a few reps in Orlando, so he knew not only the type of player he was getting, one who can push the pace, attack, and keep his team organized, but also the type of person, a great team guy, in Van Gundy's words. And Brett added how his mood never changed, a true professional who always comes with his hard hat on. The last time he was on this floor, LeBron James needed 23 shots to put up 25 points. Currently 8 of 17 for 23 points tonight. Gerald, you forced them into 9 early turnovers in that first quarter. How'd that help set the tone? I just walked with assistant coach Lloyd Pierce coming out of the locker room just now. In the first area we discussed, you guessed it, the 5:29 that Joel Embiid and Jahlil Okafor played together in that second quarter. Saturday against Boston, Isaiah Thomas became the 5th point guard this season to score at least 30 points against the Sixers. Tonight, the spotlight is on Jamal Murray with 17 points and 15 minutes at the half. Assistant coach Billy Lang just told me we need to play him hard on the ball, one-on-one. He also needs to see a crowd, and on switches, we need to be up. One final note with Joel Embiid currently at 9 minutes. I asked Billy if 19 more is realistic this half, and Billy said with 2 fouls and undermanned at that spot, they really want to give him the confidence here in this second half to play hard and not worry about any foul trouble, Mark. Everything that Jahlil Okafor wants to do is predicated by his motor. The Sixers want him to play hard and fast. He wants to score. We know that to be true. He's been double-teamed here tonight early and often, but he's evaluated by things far greater and far beyond just the stat sheet. The coaches have challenged him to be aggressive, commit to screen setting, and improve his decisions when playing faster, staying engaged. That's when he's at his best. And we can also tell you that Jahlil's a very prideful teammate. He wants to be coached, and at the end of last season, guys, communication and being more vocal was another point of emphasis for him. So that's the game within the game here, Mark. When they're down big, they don't want to play to the score, and showing that leadership down the stretch that, hey, I can hustle on the defensive end. That's what they want to see.
We go back to Molly.
Yeah, Mark, with the Sixers riding a little momentum, winning 4 straight at home, Brett Brown told us he views it as a responsibility and opportunity to coach him even harder. Brett said that nothing's changed. Players are just getting healthier. So from Brett's perspective, Mark and Alla, he's getting a little greedy out here, and in the best possible way. Welcome back, where the 76ers are up by 4. They say shooters don't have a conscience, but what if that shooter enters a game 4 for 31 from the field and then goes on to miss 9 of his first 11 shots? That was Robert Covington's world on Monday, hearing it from the crowd every time the ball went up. But in the final 4 minutes, Cov came up big with a steal that led to a layup, breaking the tie, and then less than a minute later, he hit an open 3, and those boos quickly turned to cheers. The rebounds, deflections, steals. Robert has grown into a player the Sixers can certainly depend on, even if his shots aren't falling, telling me that his focus was on making up for it at the other end. Yeah, Mark, Joel Embiid with 3 assists, all dished out to you. You've got 4 threes in this first half. What's changed? You're building off that strong performance from Monday. Gerald, up against your former team, we saw you share a nice moment with Steve Clifford pregame, but how bad do you want to show them what they're missing? Kevin Hart, born and raised in Philadelphia. What do you think about your hometown team?
Oh, man, right now it's a good time to be in Philadelphia. It's a good time to be a Sixers fan. They're playing good basketball right now, and you know what? I think it's a breath of fresh air. For them to be on a winning streak, for the city to be on fire about their basketball team is just bringing you back to the days of old when we were all excited together.
Hey, and you know what you're talking about, man. 4-time MVP at the Celebrity All-Star Game.
Yes.
Does Philly have an MVP here, or perhaps even an All-Star in Joel Embiid?
Hey, man, I mean, Embiid is playing great basketball. That can't be denied. I think his future in the NBA is a bright one, and I think this season he's definitely turning heads. So, you know, an All-Star nod would be amazing, but if it doesn't happen, it's not something that he should be defeated about because it's definitely coming in his future.
Nerlens Noel with the big jam there. Listen, Mark Zumoff, our play-by-play announcer, George Washington High School alum.
High School, fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Thanks so much, Kev. Mark and Alla, back up to you.
Bye-bye.
Siala, I told you we were boys.
Nerlens, you've now won 6 straight at home, 9 of 12 overall. As the longest tenured Sixer, what message do you want to send?
I just love the city of Philadelphia. I love the fans that stuck with me through everything I've been through. That means a lot to me. I'm Philly hard.
Tonight was your first start of the season after coming off the bench for the previous 16. How do you view your role this season, Nerlens?
Just mental willpower. I'm a strong person. I feel like, my mentality is, go hard no matter what. Play your minutes and, everything will figure itself out. But, I think tonight we did a great job of just coming out here with Rashawn. Yeah, boy.
How about that setup, Nerlens? Thank you. Rashawn, we got to start in the third quarter. You're down by 19 early in that frame. You lock it up at 89 to start the fourth. 20 of your 30 points in the third quarter came from the bench. So what was the key to your execution?
I mean, I just think just going out there trying to execute and play hard. We dug ourselves a hole in the third, and we just came out, played hard, tried to play better defense, and we were able to get out on the run.
Hey, midway through the second quarter, one heck of a block on Blake Griffin. With Joel Embiid sidelined, how important is that defensive identity and continue to run with it?
It's very important. JoJo's an elite defender, so when he's out, we try to take the slack up and do the best we can. So it was a good win for us, and I'm excited to be back.
How much did your wife Alexis inspire this hairstyle?
Oh, always. She braided the hair for me, so she's everything. Alexis, I love you, honey. RJ, I love you. This win's for y'all.
Congratulations, Sean. Charlotte associate head coach Patrick Ewing said that you may be the most talented center in the league. We also showed how your first 27 games as a professional stack up against Hakeem Olajuwon. Welcome back inside Wells Fargo Center and down to the Sixers sideline with an update on Ben Simmons. You may recall opening night on CSN when Ben told us you can't put a timetable on getting healthy. And while we still can't give you an official date of his return, we can tell you he's moving in the right direction, practicing 5-on-0 drills Tuesday for the first time since injuring his right foot in September during training camp. Brett said it wasn't a lot, it wasn't at 100%, but with us in a 76ers uniform, the gym got a lift. You could feel it, Brett said. Now cutting at around 80%, Ben ran point, which is where the Sixers will play him. So he's getting closer, Mark and Ollie. You can feel the excitement on this sideline.
Molly.
Good evening, Mark. Thank you. The Sixers are a perfect 4 of 4 in winning Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month honors this season. And before it was announced, I asked Dario if he thought he had a chance to win the award in the month of February, and he said there's always a chance, especially when Joel Embiid is not playing. Well, as the only Sixer to play in every game this season, Dario was in fact named February's top rookie in the East, also playing more minutes than anyone in his class. And when you ask him about that rookie wall, it's perhaps a case of not even knowing that one could potentially exist. Dario said, if I'm not helping my team, I shouldn't be on the floor. The rest, he said, will take care of itself. Every game in this series has gone down to the wire. 2 games, 2 buzzer beaters. So collectively, the players here at the half told me we got to continue to punch first and be the aggressors, meaning that every little thing will count. The Sixers had to go on late runs of 15-5 in game 1 and 18-5 in the second meeting to even get to that point. So assistant coach Lloyd Pierce also told me here, if we build on the momentum, apply pressure, make every catch tough for Carmelo, if we keep up the intensity, that will tell the story. A breakout performance by you tonight, highlighted by the go-ahead bucket with 24.3 on the clock to give you a 1-point lead. Take us through it.
This guy's amazing. He made a tough find, great pass. Couldn't get in the game in the first half because of fouls. He came in, he hung in there. Credit to my guys. We fought hard.
Hey, the game within the game tonight was how you showed no back down against Carmelo Anthony. You entered the game early in the second quarter to cover him, immediately picked up that big block, and you were on him on that last possession. What was your approach? Going into the fourth, leading by 12, you stood up in the middle of the huddle, told your team, hey, we've worked too hard to let this one go. How were you able to make it all happen down the stretch? The last time the 76ers were on this floor, they became the first team to beat Miami in nearly a month, snapping a 13-game winning streak, and now they walk into another hot gym with the Wizards winning 11 of their last 12, 18 of 21 overall, with the second-best record in the NBA since January 1st, behind only Golden State, who's in South Philly on Monday. So the Sixers wouldn't have it any other way. Top to bottom, they've embraced an underdog mentality. Every player I spoke with pregame went back to the basics, the value of sweat equity. Brett said he'll know in about 3 trips down the floor what his players did over the All-Star break in a similar fashion as training camp, Markinala, as they enter the final third of the season. At the end of the first quarter, Brett Brown's focus in the huddle was to get back on defense, and the transition game continues to be the emphasis here at the half. Assistant coach Lloyd Pierce just told me, look, we got to locate the other guys. We know what John Wall can do, but what hurts us is paying too much attention to Wall, and so the others get those easy layups because of it. I also caught up with Robert Covington moments ago, and I asked him if it feels like this is a different team or is it business as usual. Cov said it feels different. Guys have grown even tighter through the last 2 weeks as trade speculation heated up. No one is walking on eggshells. They have one goal collectively, and that is to compete and fight, make Philly proud, Cov said.
We're going to keep fighting no matter what.
Thank you. Now, Rashawn, with every nod, every opportunity on the floor, you continue to make the most of it. Your first career double-double tonight, and you've stayed ready for this moment. How? Following last night's victory over the Knicks, where Dario Saric had a line of 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists, Brett Brown said, how can it not be? The Rookie of the Year goes through Philadelphia.
This is an event really where it's nonstop entertainment while trying to do the most good for the youth here in Philly and Camden.
You've got us sold, right? March 7th, circle the date. Here on CSN, though, we really like to share how the NBA cares, and the Sixers always leading the way from that standpoint. You indicated tonight was payback for your first meeting, up by 15 here. What's allowed that?
I think we're just being physical with them.
Against a team that averages 43 points in the paint, you held them to 12 in that first half. When you have that type of rim protection, how does that impact things?
That's one of the main things we've been talking about lately.
Nerlens, so much for those 4 to 5 minute runs at a time. With 8 straight in the first quarter, what's your body telling you? And it was at the half last night in Salt Lake City when Nerlens Noel told us that his body was feeling good after 8 straight minutes in that first quarter, and he was looking to prove that he can handle whatever the team needs from him. Brett said he would much rather water down competitiveness than try and teach it, calling Nerlens an elite competitor, an A-plus athlete. Brett also has been saying all along, Markinala, that you can't just click your heels and come in to play NBA basketball. It takes time. As Nerlens continues to make the most of his increased role, he's now played 74 minutes this season, with 35 of them coming in the last 2 games. Welcome back to Bankers Life Fieldhouse, where the 76ers are down by 4. All right, so I don't have guns like Markinala, so I'm going to save you guys from trying to show what Ben Simmons just tweeted out, but the message was essentially looking strong. How would you best quantify the impact Joel Embiid makes? Brett Brown tackled that question pregame and said, with him on the floor, we are the #1 team defensively. He paused with purpose and said, that right there tells the story. In fact, the Sixers allow 98 points per 100 possessions with Joel on the floor, compared to 108 without him. Now, the Sixers know he can't camouflage everything, but his impact is clear. To the Sixers sideline, where that last time out was an illustration of what Brett Brown has emphasized with us. It's an extremely tight group. Nerlens Noel is the longest tenured Sixer and said it's the closest team Philly has had in 4 years. His message in that huddle, we gotta keep playing together.
We couldn't do without each and every one of you.
Listen, you guys have been through so much, the highs and the lows. What's been the key to navigating through it?
Just staying together as a team.